So welcome to this town hall to kick off the spring semester of 2023. Thanks to everyone for joining us, and thanks to all the panelists who are here. You probably can't see them all. You can only see me right now, but there's a significant number of leaders from across the university who are here to answer your questions. So we're looking forward to all the questions that you have to ask, and hopefully we give you great answers tonight. And so if you do have questions, please use the Q&A feature. It's down at the bottom of your screen to submit your questions. Don't use the chat, but use the Q&A feature, and we'll make sure that we monitor those and answer the questions that you have. It's a great new semester. We have some new faces who have joined us on campus. Let me first introduce Dr. Art Malloy, who's our new Vice President for Student Affairs. Art, I think you're aboard. There you are. Good to see you.
Well, thank you so much, President Armacost, for introducing me. I am excited to be here. I'm from the state of North Carolina, trying to get used to the wonderful weather here at UND. I'm looking forward to working with the stellar student affairs staff, and what we intend to do is to provide excellent out-of-class experiences for our students, focusing on wellness, leadership, student engagement, and services. And I look forward to any questions that you all may have for me.
Great, thanks, Art. I also wanted to introduce, and we might have introduced her in the fall, but it never hurts to do it again. We have a new Vice President for Finance and Operations, Carla Mojon-Stewart. So Carla, welcome. Glad you could be here tonight.
Thank you, Andy. Just like Andy said, I started this position in midsummer, and I'm super excited to be here. I've been with the university for about 7 years and in this role for about 6 months. So excited to be a part of the UND experience and helping our students get out in this world. So glad to be here tonight. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Carla. It's great to see you. And thanks for being such a great member of the team. And in addition, we have Dr. Randy Tanglin, who is the new Vice Provost for Faculty Affairs. And so she didn't join us tonight because this is a student-focused event, students and families, but I just wanted to make sure that you heard her name. She's a new addition to our campus as well. So tonight is, again, a chance to talk about UND, to celebrate the many great things happening. I do know that a lot of great work happened on our new UND strategic plan. It's called UND Leads, which is an acronym for Learning, Equity, Affinity, Discovery, and Service. And it really celebrates the spirit that we want on our campus, one where people feel a sense of wonder, a sense of discovery and creativity, a sense of belonging, that we're all here together and well connected to UND. So we're pleased to have launched that strategic plan just last week, and it will guide many of the decisions and the actions on our campus. And then in addition, of note is the fact that we're now, I think, our third week into the legislative session. This is where our state legislature makes decisions about what to embed into the North Dakota Century Code. And this is an opportunity for us to track many bills, and more are emerging each and every day. We meet with the system once a week, every Friday, to learn about upcoming testimony. And I'm really proud of our student leadership on campus, both Faith Wall, Morgan Mastrud, and Ethan McGregor, who have been actively involved in bringing the student voice to the Legislative Assembly this year. So they've done great work. And so just know that we're monitoring all of the action in Bismarck. We will weigh in as necessary to give the university's perspectives on a wide variety of issues. But tonight it's to hear from you, and it's to answer your questions. We know hopefully everybody had a great break, and now the semester is underway. We're looking forward for it to be a great one for everybody on the campus. So let me introduce Dr. Cassie Gerhardt, who is our Associate Vice President for Student Affairs. She also serves as the most amazing moderator of events like this. You do, and so she will guide the discussion and answer the questions, and really be kind of the central control mechanism for getting the information to you. So Cassie, over to you.
Thanks, President Armacost. I appreciate it. Good evening, parents and family members and students. We're happy to have you join us, as President Armacost shared. Please, as the president said, please submit your questions in the Q&A. We really want to make sure this is helpful to all of you. We have colleagues on the Zoom, though you can't see them, from athletics and our academic programs, and of course our colleagues in student affairs. So please feel free to ask the questions. I know we've gotten one question, and so my colleague Margie, I'm going to see if you'll come off of mute, but the big question, and to the parents, please know, I already asked Margie this question as a parent last week just to confirm. So Margie, one of our first questions is, when is spring tuition due? And Margie will share with you, I called her last week to confirm, so I made sure my son got his tuition paid this spring. But Margie, could you help people and remind them just when is tuition due for the spring semester?
I sure can. Over the weekend, this past weekend, students received their financial aid and scholarships. So now they'll see their remaining balance due on their account. And the last day to pay that before a late fee is March 15th.
Thanks, Margie. So March 15th is the key date. Add it to your calendar like I did when I called to confirm getting my son to pay his tuition. So next question we've got, and I don't know that my colleague Orlin was able to join us tonight. So Dr. Malloy, I might ask you to come off mute if you don't mind and join, but we've had a question raised about what people are paying per semester for food. And the question really is about the quality of food and availability of food in Wilkerson. And you may see it, sir, in the Q&A. So, but a question about what is being done to bring the food quality and selection up to a level that reflects the cost of our dining program.
Well, what I can tell you, Cassie, and to the family members from the wonderful state of North Carolina, my hometown, is that I actually toured. I toured with Orlin this morning, and I did a campus dining tour. And what I can tell you is that we are looking at ways to constantly improve the quality. I do think the quality is good, but what I would say is if there is a student who still has some questions about the quality of the food, I certainly welcome an opportunity to have that conversation with them. We can all sit down and talk about that. So you can simply send me an email at art.malloy@und.edu. And I will be happy to facilitate that discussion with you.
Thanks, Dr. Malloy. As a reminder to people, if you do have specific questions, I know you're not able to see all of my colleagues that are joining us. For, I think, just about everybody, when we come off of mute and you see our name on the screen, our email conventions are first.lastname@und.edu. So please, if you've got questions that we aren't able to answer or a more specific situation about your student or your situation, please feel free to email us. And if you don't see who you might want to directly email, you can always feel free to email me at thecassie.gerhart, and I probably know how to get the email to the appropriate person to get the question asked. We've got a question come in that really is talking about student mental health, and it's a two-parter. So I'm going to start first with Alex Pokernowski and Dr. Malloy, if you want to join in, but Alex, I'll start with you. The question is about what is UND presently doing for student mental health, including treatment and educational outreach. This person talks about how her daughter is very much enjoying her first year experience. So if you could highlight that. And then I did see the other part of the question, and that really is about programs related to the legislature. So President Armacost, I'll come to you after Alex talks about what we currently offer.
Yep, so through Alex Pokernowski, Dean of Students, I work with our colleagues in the Counseling Center pretty closely. And so I'll share about what we currently offer for outreach and education is a variety of things. One thing that many students saw at the start of the fall semester was our Green Bandana program that actually started out of athletics and then grew into other things. And our colleague, Dean Krause from the College of Aerospace, is also on the call, and we're doing some specific things with them for peer mentorship programs. We also just do general outreach and education and awareness for students. We have a program called Mental Health First Aid that is really just what the name says. First aid as it relates to mental health and really trying to get the word out on how to talk to each other about mental health, how to look out for one another and care for one another. The Counseling Center has services Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, and we also have night services a couple days a week that are available for students. And so lots of different ways that students can get access to that. And we're always looking for additional ways to get access to students, as well as to just increase awareness to mental health and well-being.
Thanks, Alex. President Armacost. Oh, sorry, I kind of glitched there. President Armacost, do you want to talk about the work being done in the legislature related to funding to support student mental health?
Will do. So across the entire system, the 11 colleges that are in the North Dakota University system, there's a request for over $3 million across those schools to provide stronger and more comprehensive mental health, behavioral health services to our students. At UND, the total is about $660,000, and that would go towards funding additional providers to make sure that we can increase the service and the support systems that we have in place for our students. So significant effort there. And we won't know until the legislature makes its vote, but we're hoping for a good result.
Thank you. I'm gonna take a moderator point of personal privilege. I appreciate everything Alex shared about what the great work our colleagues do in the University Counseling Center. Family members and students, I'd also remind you, there's just lots of things going on around campus to help in the area of mental health. We're seeing increased usage at our student wellness center. So sometimes it's just working out some of the stress issues and concerns. There's great programming going on campus. So time to take a break and engage with your peers, whether it's through the programming done through UND student events, the programming done through our colleagues in student diversity inclusion, rec sports, going to athletic events. So lots of things going on that I think if people engage in them, that also can help in the area of student mental health. I do see one of my colleagues, Dr. Wynn, has raised his hand. Dr. Wynn, do you want to add something to this conversation?
Yes, thank you very much, Josh Wynn, Vice President for Health Affairs and Dean of the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences. I just wanted to point out that we at UND are not simply waiting for the legislature, we're already acting. So for instance, at the School of Medicine and Health Sciences, we've added 2 what we call wellness advocates. And these are people who actually interact mainly with the students to try to be source of information, counseling, and so forth. To help deal with this, because it's clear that this is an issue. So we are both hopeful for the future, but also acting at the present. Thank you.
Thank you for that additional information, Dr. Wynn. I really appreciate it. Questions been raised about the tuition that our Canadian students from Ontario pay. So Carla Mojan-Stewart or Margie Evers, can one of you come off, or maybe both of you if you have different information to share, but do Canadian residents who live in Ontario have a different tuition from international students? So Carla or Margie for that question?
I will let Margie answer that question because of course the answer is it depends on which program they're enrolled at. But I will let Margie give you the general information related to undergraduate programs and general programs.
So that would fall under the non-resident rate. And so if you have a specific question for that, if you want to shoot me an email at marjorie.evers@und.edu. Also, any questions can go to onestop@und.edu as well. But that would fall under the non-resident rate. And it can depend on their major and different factors. So thank you.
That's a question. Yeah, thanks, Margie. There's so many specific things. We want to make sure we get the specific things. So again, if you email Marjorie, that's great. And again, if you missed your email, by all means, feel free to reach out to me. So we've got family members already thinking ahead to commencement, which will be here before we know it. So a question, and whether it's President Armacost, maybe Melanie, who ceremonies and events reports to. Melanie, if you want to speak to, what do we need to know about the graduation ceremony this spring to have everything run smoothly?
Well, the first thing I would say is to make sure that your soon-to-be graduate is following the student communication so that they get the notices about graduation, so that they register to graduate, they get information about they're getting their cap and gown and all of that great information. Spring commencement is scheduled for Saturday, May 13th at 2 p.m. for undergrads. There'll be more information sent out through the Student Life Weekly and our My UND student app here as we head into a little deeper into the spring semester, and we'll be sure to share all that information so it goes out in our parent newsletter as well. So be on the lookout and read those emails and those communications as they come out.
Thanks, Melanie. commencement is the best day because this is what it's all about. It's about seeing our students graduate. So it really is one of the best days. Hopefully that answered what people wanted. I know there's certainly the academic side of commencement, and students need to make sure that they are watching those emails so that they're applying for graduation by the appropriate deadlines and things. But all of that is sent to them. They just need to be watching those emails. We've got a question. We have a comment that I'll just appreciate. A family member shared how smooth our move-in day went, and that maybe wasn't the experience at another institution. All of the kudos for that goes to Christy Okerlund, who helps coordinate our move-in volunteers and our colleagues in housing and residence life under the leadership of Troy Noldner, the director. We owe them a debt of gratitude for all that they do to make that move-in process as smooth as it is. So my thanks to Christy, who I know is here, and to Troy and our entire housing team. We've got a question about aerospace, and some of it relates to weather. So Dean Krause, I'm going to put you in charge of all weather questions this evening. So I'll have you come, but it might be one as well that Brian Willis wants to add to, and we might have some different things. So obviously weather cannot be controlled even by our colleagues in aerospace, which certainly sometimes has an impact on our students being able to complete their flight hours. So the question by this family member is, what does a student do if the semester ends and because of weather delays, that person hasn't achieved check rides and other things? Is there temporary housing, food, just the experiences? This isn't new to some of us, but for a family who might be looking ahead to this at the end of May or June, if between you, Dean Krause, and Brian Willis, could you address this one for us?
Yes, Cassie, thank you. And it's a great question. So the way that works is the student has 1 calendar year from when they start a course to actually complete it. If they don't finish it in the semester they're in, they get an SP grade, which is not treated as an incomplete. It's treated separately in the system, but they are able to continue flying in that course. And so the fees and everything that are associated with that course. The second question is, are housing and food available in the summer? Yes, very much so. So we end up having a lot of students that either finish up a course in the summer, or in many cases, they take the next course in the summer to try and work ahead. So there's a significant number of aviation students that are here pretty much year round. The other reason to stay and fly in the summer is we have a lot of hours of daylight in North Dakota. And so, I mean, we're open from 6 in the morning till midnight pretty much. And so there's a lot of flying that goes on, and you don't have a lot of other distractions. And so many students use it to catch up. So we're happy to answer those questions. I think there were some questions about how much does it cost, and I think some of that information is available on the website, but we can get you that specifically if needed. And Brian, do you want to add any more?
You hit it well, so I'll leave it at that.
Thanks to you both. I saw a comment, and I know Christy already took it down. There was a comment about our question about what Christy does not do. There's very little that Christy Okerlund does not do, and as her supervisor, I can confirm that. So thank you for the compliment to Christy. We know how great she is and the outreach she does. So we've reached that point where questions have kind of slowed down. So please, if you have a question or a comment, I did see another comment about the service a student received in student health services. They are outstanding. And I know Dr. Pokranowski, who's with us, will relay that compliment to his colleagues in student health services, which Alex helps supervise. So parents, if you're joining us from places outside of North Dakota, hopefully your students have been enjoying what I consider balmy January temps in North Dakota. Dr. Malloy is new. We've been trying to let him know that this is unseasonable. To let you know, things change a lot later this week. So if your students say it's cold, it's going to get cold. Weather is hitting us. I think we're in the 30s the next couple of days. And by Saturday, we are highs of -2. So we are 32 on Friday and a high of -2 on Saturday, which is more seasonable. I know, don't shake your head, President Armacosta had to come. We've delayed it a long time. So, but winter is coming. This has been nothing lately. So President Armacosta, do you have other things to add? Sorry, I see you, sir. I apologize if you had something to add there.
No, I concur with your comment that we've been unseasonably warm. It's been great. And then I don't know if we have information here. I know parents and students often want to know about the career fairs and what's happening this spring for our spring career fair. So I don't know who has the answer.
Ashley Vegan, Ashley, could you maybe come up and help? So Ashley's going to highlight that one. That's a great suggestion, President Armacosta. Ashley, you want to talk about the upcoming career fairs? We've got 2 days of it at the end of the month, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming up next week. I should introduce myself. I apologize. My name's Ashley Vegan. I'm the Director of Student Academic Success and Career Engagement. Yes, career fairs are next week already, next Monday and Tuesday. The most exciting part is we have over 160 employers that are coming to Grand Forks to meet your students or students that are on this call. It's over 2 days. It is from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and we are bringing it back to the Memorial Union. For the past 7 or 8 years, we have held it in the Alara Center, which is a little bit off campus. So we're really excited to have it back on campus in the heart of everything. So it's a lot easier for your student to make it in between classes. If they only have 20 minutes to spare, we encourage them to come check in, walk around, get their bearings. And if they want to come back later to talk with employers, they can do that as well. I will throw the link in the chat in the Q&A so that everyone is able to see it. The first day focuses on engineering and technology, and the second day focuses more on business, aviation, and arts and sciences areas. Students are able to come to both days, and if there's any questions at all, please reach out to Career Services, and we're happy to help.
Ashley, stay live there. A follow-up question.
Yeah.
Does the career fair include internship opportunities?
Absolutely. Yes. Lots of job opportunities, internship opportunities. We recommend students of all academic levels to come, freshman through senior. We also see a lot of graduate students as well. So we even have high school students that come as well. We have students from community colleges in the area. Check out the employers that are there too. But yes, lots and lots of internships, especially in the spring semester, planning for the upcoming summer off. Lots of employers are hiring. So
Ashley, another question that's come in, has come in that I think you're probably the best to answer.
Sure.
So this question is, waiting to get some courses transferred from my previous school. Am I still able to enroll when the course is finally cleared for distant learners?
For this semester, I think what we should probably do is have you email me directly. So it's my first name last name at und.edu, and we'll take a specific look at your program, what classes you're bringing in, what you're currently enrolled in, and we'll connect you directly with your academic advisor so we can take a full picture look at all of those specifics and figure out a plan for you moving forward.
Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate that. So again, to the person who has the question about the transferring of courses, please email Ashley, ashley.vegan, so ASHLEY.VIGEN. So Dr. Malloy, I'm gonna raise this question with you. So this question is from a parent who says, my daughter is looking for some social events on campus to connect with other students who have disabilities. Social settings available so she can connect with other people who can relate to the disabilities. What social events and locations of socialization does UND provide for disabled students to connect with other students with disabilities?
Well, first, what I'd like to say is that all of our events are open to all of our students. All of our services are here for all of our students. But if you are looking specifically to try to make sure that that your student can connect with other students who have disabilities, then I would say the first place to start would be our Office of Disability Student Services. I think what you're going to find is that you're going to meet a staff there that is very, very well informed and is very, very good at the jobs that they do. So I think that's going to be the first place that you should start. But you know, I would like to say we also have an Office of Student Diversity and Inclusion, and I would say after visiting that office just a few days ago, that's a place where I think all students are going to find that they're welcome, and whether the other students have disabilities or not, you're just going to find a wide variety of the diversity that's represented at UND. So I would say that would also be another place where I think you would find some great opportunities to interact with other students.
Thank you. I was just seeing if anybody else was going to come up. I apologize. Thanks, Dr. Malloy. So a question was raised, and Christy, maybe I'll pivot this one to you. Does UND provide any social events for students doing remote learning? Do you want to maybe talk about some of the things that you've done through student involvement and parent programs?
Sure, absolutely. Good evening, everyone. My name is Christy Okerlund, and I serve as Director of Student Involvement and Parent Programs here at UND. We have a series of programs that are called UND Student Events, and we offer a wide variety of opportunities for students to make connections. One of those, we do a book club that would be open to students doing remote learning, any type of DIY kits, or we do an event called Fluff and Stuff, which is similar to Build-A-Bear. Any of those opportunities, we would mail those kits out to students who aren't here on campus. So as students receive Student Life Weekly each week, if there's any events in there that look like, oh, I feel like this would apply to me, I would just encourage them to send me an email, and we are happy to connect those to you and get them mailed out. And if you ever have ideas, please send those our way too, because we're always looking for new ideas.
Christy, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We're getting there was a compliment shared about how much people enjoyed Family Weekend and the opportunity to meet the president and the vice presidents. Do you want to put out when Family Weekend, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Family Weekend for this fall? I know you've got the dates set. You want to just share that?
Absolutely. Family Weekend for 2023 will be October 27th to the 29th. And the schedule and information will hopefully be confirmed around June, but October 27th to 29th will be our traditional family weekend.
And if Dean Krause is in charge of weather, it'll be a beautiful weekend in Grand Forks, North Dakota. So that will be good. Next question, and Brian Willis, I'm going to send this one your way if you don't mind, my friend. Since aviation students have not been able to move ahead with their flights, many students are not registered for a flight course for the spring term. Will an exception be made this year so parents can fly with their student in a UND plane during Aviation Family Weekend this year if they're not registered for an aviation course during the spring term? So could you just speak to those interests as we look ahead to Aviation Family Weekend in April?
Yeah, no, it's amazing to talk about that. We're already talking about April and we're barely through January, but yes, we do have an exception built for students who aren't actively in a flight lab as long as they are actively still at UND. There is a proficiency in currency flight that they're required to go up with a flight instructor before they're going to be signed off for the family weekend or the parent flight. But again, we do have a process for anybody that maybe finishes from the fall and isn't currently in a flight course to allow them to partake in family weekend.
More appreciation for Christy. It's funny that people are sending all the appreciation for Christy just when I'm getting ready to do her annual performance evaluation. So Christy, I don't know if these are plants that you have, but I appreciate all the wonderful feedback. Christy is awesome. This is great. Alex, Dr. Pokranowski, sorry, Alex and I work so closely together, I should use official. But Alex, if a student is getting mental health services from their home state and is having trouble continuing the services, who exactly should the student direct this issue to?
So for most of it, I would say to the University Counseling Center. The University Counseling Center is available in McCannell Hall on the second floor, number 701-777-2127. We have a case manager who works at the counseling center. One of the things that they do is help students transfer care in, as well as after they graduate, to transfer care out if they need to have ongoing care, depending on the specific type of mental health care. For example, if someone is also, let's say, working with a psychiatrist in their home state and is looking to transfer that care as well, then I would direct them to student health services. Our counseling center and student health services, again, both located in McCannell Hall, work very closely with each other. And so if the student started at either place, they would likely connect them to the other office if they needed that as well.
Awesome. Hey, Alex, I think you might be responding to another question directly, but given others might be able to see it, can you talk about, it was a question about events being accessible. And so for instance, if a student is blind and interested in attending events, but is not sure how to get around in an unfamiliar area or access information easily, what are their options?
Yeah, so I would reach out to the Disability Services for Students office, and they would work with the student on the specific event and the specific need to make sure that whatever accommodations that student needs, that we're able to provide them access to whatever educational program, activity, class it might be. And so I'm not going to give a specific this answer or that answer, but it's really case by case, student by student. So that student should reach out to DSS, and then DSS would be able to work with the student to make sure they find something that meets that student's needs.
Again, if there are other questions, please feel free to share them. I appreciate Ashley sharing information about the upcoming career fairs. And I want to reiterate what she said. Those are not just for students getting ready to graduate and looking for a job. We want our students their first semester, first year at UND to be engaging and starting to make those connections, to walk around, see what's available. So please encourage your students to attend. There are other events coming up. I know a few questions about social events and events going on campus. This Thursday is our spring student organization fair. So from 11 to 1, if I'm not mistaken, and I know Christy will correct me if I've got that wrong, but 11 to 1 this Thursday is our student org fair in the Memorial Union Ballroom. So an opportunity for students who maybe haven't found a connection to explore some of the orgs that are available. Your students every Monday morning from Vice President Linder's team in marketing and communications get an email called Student Life Weekly. That has a list of events and activities going on. It's fraternity recruitment. I know our rec sports or intramurals are currently looking for members. There's a whole host of things. So lots of ways to get involved. And they just need to look to those things. They can also see those events if they have the My UND app. So if you've got a student or if family members are joining us and have not yet added the downloaded the My UND app from the App Store, we would encourage them to do that. They can set some filters. One of the filters is free events on campus. So as different events go on, there are opportunities for students to engage in a number of things and lots of information shared. Students just need to open those emails and get things added to their calendars. So a question has come in, and Alex, this one is probably most likely for you. Bill, I'm going to come. Oh, let me hold Alex. Bill's got his hand up because I didn't highlight athletic events. Oh my gosh, friend Chaves, I'm so sorry. So please, Mr. Chaves.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Bill Chaves. I'm the director of athletics. And Cassie Gerhardt, I will say this: she loves the school from the South, and we are going to be playing that school from the South on Saturday at 1 o'clock in women's basketball. Among other things, we've got indoor track meet on Friday and Saturday at the Pollard Athletic Center, and we also have tennis. And if you go to fightinghawks.com, you'll see a calendar section. Go right to there, and you'll see all the home events that we have this weekend.
For those of you not familiar with North Dakota geography, Bill Chaves is talking about North Dakota State University. Rivalries run really deep for this loyal UND alum. And so I wish NDSU all the best, except when they play us in athletic competitions, Bill. So that's, I appreciate the heads up. Thank you for that. I apologize, I missed athletics. Alex, now I'm going to come to you with the student health insurance question. So student health insurance, we are told, used to be something available to students, but not any longer. What health insurance options are available for students currently, given student health insurance was discontinued? So could you speak to that, please?
Yep, so it was discontinued a handful of years ago. It was discontinued due to low enrollment in the program and then the costs associated with that. At Student Health, we actually have an employee who helps students navigate the insurance process. And so I'll put a link in response to the question to where we have some of that information on our website, specifically looking at health insurance. But what I would encourage the student and the family to do is go to that link or reach out to Student Health directly, 701-777-4500, and ask to talk with one of our colleagues at Student Health, and they'd be able to work with the student to find coverage that makes sense for them based on price as well as based on the type of coverage that they would need.
Sorry, I clicked the button on the camera too many times. I apologize for the delay. Thank you, Angelita, for putting your contact information and sharing that in the chat. So for students who might be looking for connecting socially with other disabled students, I appreciate Angelita making her contact information available. Another question we've received, and Dr. Bailey, Dr. Tamaqui Bailey, I'm going to direct this one to you. We have seen organizations on campus dedicated to LGBTQI+ and other offices for social gatherings on campus for BiPOC students. Why is there no Disability Pride Center on campus?
Dr. Gerhardt, thank you so much, and thank you for the individual submitting the question. For us, it is really important that we continue to create an inclusive campus. And so working with disability services for students, working with our colleges and schools, working through HR, working through our EO Title IX office, as well as the office that I head up, diversity and inclusion, excuse me, that we continue to look for ways to make sure and work towards having an inclusive campus. And so to that end, while we do not have a specific office, as Dr. Malloy said earlier, we have over 250 student organizations on campus that really work towards welcoming all members of our community on campus. So I'll start there as one point. And I'll continue to say, and I've said this earlier today in our town hall that we held earlier today, is that we continue to welcome suggestions, ideas, a way of bringing people together. I think that for many of the organizations, student organizations that work with student diversity and inclusion, there's this intersectionality for our students. So it's not one student who is just looking for their support in terms of their racial identity, or not just students looking for support as it relates to their gender identity, sexual orientation. We see this overlap, we see this intersectionality. So what I would say is that you will see offices, you will see experiences working to support our students, and we will continue to do that. And we continue to recognize that we don't have all the solutions, we don't have all the answers. So for those of you who are interested in already having one student say, hey, how can I help to connect with others? We'll continue to do that. And so while I hope you hear that there are kind of a multi-pronged process for us and really thinking about supporting individuals on campus, I will continue to take support. My email is a little bit different. I know Dr. Gerhardt had mentioned that. It is my first name, Tom Bequee, without the hyphen, .bailey@und.edu. So that's what I'll say. We continue to support students across the campus, whether it's about level of ability, whether it's about gender identity, whether it's about racial identity, all those things, from TRIO program dealing with first generation. So we're trying to make sure that we are working with all students and make people feel a sense of connectedness and a sense of inclusion on campus.
Thanks, Dr. Bailey, and thank you for the reminder about not all name conventions are as simple as just first name, last name. I appreciate that reminder. A question, and this one I probably would send to you, Dr. Malloy, but given it's day 12 for you, I don't want to put you on the spot. I promised you I wouldn't do that. So I'm going to probably send it to Christy. If aviation students will be continuing into later spring or summer sessions, what are the housing options? Will they be able to move into housing that they may choose for the fall session? Christy, I know you've navigated that transition to summer with students and family members a number of times, so you probably know the details. I know you know them better than me. And again, given it's only Dr. Malloy's day 12, I don't want to put him on the spot because I probably haven't gotten to summer housing quite yet.
Absolutely, very happy to help. There are options for summer housing, not guaranteed that your student would move into a location for the summer that they would stay in for the fall, but it's potential scenario. Once I'm done chatting here, I will put the link to the summer housing website in the answer piece to your question, but rates for summer housing will be released in February. Right now, it looks like Brannan Hall and University Place will be the two buildings that will be open for the summer. As in what happens on a lot of college campuses, summer is a time for renovations, painting, just minor upkeep projects of a wide variety that our facilities team coordinates. And so our housing colleagues typically don't have every building open. They look to just one or two to accommodate summer requests. But there are options if your student needs to stay for 3 extra weeks, 6 extra weeks, the entire summer. There are options here on campus. So I will put that link in the chat. And students get an email once a week from housing. And so also encourage them to be looking at those emails, whether this is a student or a family member asking the question, because those Wednesday emails that housing sends out will have other information about summer coming up as well.
Thanks, Christy. Thanks, Christy. That's also a great reminder. We also have started the recontracting process. So for students who are looking to live in the residence halls for the next school year, they have the opportunity now to start the recontracting experience. Maybe they want to live in the same room, or they want to move to a different hall but have an early choice of rooms, things like that. All of those are emails that they're starting to get ready for the upcoming academic year. So if your student is planning to live in the residence halls, you might want to make sure that they're looking at those emails, that they're getting lots of details about the recontracting process that is currently going on. Are there any existing buildings that are being renovated over the summer? So I don't know if that's in the context of housing. So I'll maybe say to Dr. Malloy, but it's probably larger campus, in which case President Armacost, if we want to just do an update maybe about some of the things going on. So broader perspective about existing buildings being renovated over the summer, maybe just an update of what's going on in the construction and everything on campus.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of action happening, of course. West Hall, which is one of our residence halls on the west end of campus near the Wilkerson complex, is opening. We had taken down Old West and Old McVeigh. The new McVeigh came up and started receiving occupants in the late fall semester, and West will do the same beginning this summer. So that's exciting on that part of the campus. In addition, some of our older residence halls have come down or are coming down. So Squires and Walsh are still up. Squires still has students in it. And when those are vacated, the plan is to take those down over the summer. Again, these are buildings that were built in the 50s and just in desperate need of repair. And it's a smart decision, although sad because of the memories that have been formed in those buildings. And then Merrifield Hall, which is central to the historic academic quad, it houses arts and humanities courses. That one is undergoing a major renovation, and that will actually, some of the demolition has already started, but that construction will go through the summer. Well, probably through the summer and into the following summer as well. So that's an exciting restoration of just a magnificent structure that is a centerpiece of our campus. Trying to think what else. Memorial Village, which is a mixed use. The first floor are athletic department offices, and the upper floors are market rate apartments. That construction still continues. That will go on probably through the summer of 2024 as well. And we'll soon, hopefully soon, break ground on the Pollard Athletic Center Phase 2, the second phase of it, which will be new locker rooms, new weight rooms, and sports med facilities for our student athletes. And that construction hopefully begins within a matter of months. So I think those are all the major ones right now.
Yeah, campus is looking great, and I know even more coming. So thank you for the update. Margie, a couple of questions have come in related to One Stop. So if you don't mind, I've got a couple that maybe you've seen. So the first question, can you elaborate on changes in residency renewal for out-of-state students?
Yes, so residency renewal, there's a change for that happened this past semester. And so once the student does their residency for themselves as a freshman, residency renewal is not a requirement anymore. So that is something that we have taken a look at, and once you get set up as a freshman, you'll continue through your school years.
That is just one example of a lot of people working to reduce barriers for our students. And so kudos to you, Margie, and everybody else who's worked on that one. Another question you maybe have seen, and this is a chance for you to talk about One Stop. The question is, what services does One Stop Student Services provide?
Yes, I sure can. One Stop Student Services at UND, the primary roles for One Stop is financial aid, billing, and the university U-card. But One Stop is just a place also where your students can come with any questions. We're happy to give as much information as we can. And then if it's an academic advisor that you need to see, or student health, or we will help the student to kind of figure out ways to get to the next step. But it's One Stop is a friendly place for all students to come. We take walk-ins all day long. We're open for appointments. They don't need an appointment. They just come and walk in, and we take their appointments. So all kinds of great things happening in One Stop, and we're certainly thrilled that you guys all chose to come to the University of North Dakota.
Thanks, Marjorie. I know, Christy, I think you've been looking at this information. Is there a place to renew passports on campus? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so, but Christy, what else did you find? I know you were looking into that. There's maybe a web link you're going to link. So unless somebody else has that one. Christy, do you want to? She's coming off. There she goes. Oops.
Oh, sorry, I froze. I just Googled it, to be honest, and found, I know that most folks that I am connected to that have renewed a passport in Grand Forks have gone to the post office, our local Grand Forks post office. This website does list the Grand Forks County Tax Equalization Department, as well as the International Center here on campus. That one I would want to get final confirmation on, so I will do that. Vanessa, if you want to include your email address or send me an email, I'm happy to get 100%. I'm getting a different message that says International Center is a no. So I maybe will not trust this website that I'm looking at. So Vanessa, if you want to share your email address with me, happy to get further information for you, unless somebody else on the chat or on this call knows.
I don't know that one about passports. I know where I go to the federal building or to the county building, but that's what I know. But we can get some more information. So Vanessa, again, reach out to Christy.Okerlund and Christy will keep looking at that one for you. So Margie, I think we're just getting a clarification. So the question that's been raised is, what does that mean with regards to residence? Next year, my student will be a resident of North Dakota for a year. Is she still going to be considered an in-state student starting next year?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So yes, if they applied through One Stop Student Services for residency and they were approved, there is no renewal process. That they will just automatically be in as a in-state student for the next year. And for those of you that aren't aware of the residency program, once a student has lived in North Dakota for 1 full year and has had a North Dakota driver's license for 1 full year, they can apply through One Stop Student Services website for in-state tuition.
Thanks, Margie, I appreciate that.
I just wanted to add, Cassie, just because based on the question, it looks like the student maybe is not a resident this year, but would qualify for residency next year because they would have lived in the state and had the, so they would still follow the application process as they always have. The difference is then the following year, they would not have to reapply. So for the parent that was asking the specific question, if I read the question correctly, you would still need to apply for residency, but you only have to do it once. Prior to review of this policy, that was a renewal process that had to occur every year. And that's what's changed. So I hope that answered your question. If not, please reach out to me or Margie and we'll be happy to clarify that. But I just wanted to make sure that that was the question you were asking.
Thanks, Carla, for the additional clarification. I appreciate colleagues that come offline. Sometimes we answer the question the way we think we understand it, but there might be a nuance. So my thanks to my colleagues who are adding to that. I've got a question that I'm going to pose to Provost Link. It was a question that was submitted to the Town Hall Communications earlier this afternoon. So Provost Link, this one is for you. The question is, when will our kids be able to get back in the classroom and in campus? Our daughter has 3 of 5 classes online. She doesn't have anything on her schedule Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's not good. She's missing out on the college experience, not to mention what it's doing to kids' mental health. Changes need to be made. So can you just speak to what the university's expectations are in terms of course delivery, maybe that we've got on campus and we've got classes that students opt to take that are delivered online, but if you could maybe speak to that, I'd appreciate it.
Of course, Cassie, thank you so much. And thanks to whoever submitted the question. Of course, during the pandemic, as everyone is aware, we had to take the health and safety of all of our students in mind and make sure that we could continue to deliver top quality programming, but at a distance because of the various prohibitions that were safety-based during the pandemic. Now that we are on the other side of that, of course, campus has come back to life. There's a great deal of activity in and around classrooms and programs across the campus. That said, programming, our curriculum is delivered in a number of different ways, depending on the program here at the University of North Dakota. Some of our academic programs are taught entirely on-site in traditional classroom spaces. Other programs are taught hybrid, where some of the coursework may be done online, some in person. We even have some individual courses that are hybrid, where some of the instruction will take place in a physical classroom and other instruction associated with that class will take place online. And we have other programs that are offered entirely online, where the only way a student can complete that particular sequence of courses is through remote instruction. Often students find themselves, this is Not true for all students, but some of our students, by design, by choice, or by circumstance, find themselves with course schedules that are a mix of all of these different modalities, where they may have a few in-person classes, maybe a hybrid course, maybe 1 or 2 online courses, or some variation thereof. This is, again, a factor of what modality of instruction the particular program is offered in. Obviously, we would like to be able to offer as much of our programming on campus according to the widest variety of modalities as we can, but that's certainly not the case with all of our programs. We are prohibited by all kinds of limiting factors. So that's why you'll find some programs entirely online, some entirely on-site, and some blended. I was speaking with a colleague just earlier today on this very topic about a particular student who happens right now to be mostly in, not all, but mostly online courses with just 1 or 2 on-site courses. And the reason for that is that the student is in a major that is delivered on-site, but a minor that is only available online, and just happens this semester to be taking a lot of courses towards the minor. So we wind up with a class schedule that is predominantly delivered through online instruction. That, of course, will change for that student in the very next semester when they're ostensibly going to be doing more courses in their major and more traditional on-site varieties. I will end on this note. Any student should reach out to their advisors and work with their advisors very closely on building course schedules that are in line with their interests and desires. We have a number of programs out there where a course may be delivered both on-site and online. And the student, if the student wished to take that course on-site, the advisor can direct that student to make sure they sign up for the right course that suits their needs and their desires. Cassie, thank you so much for the question.
Thanks, Provost Lake. While you're on, I'm just going to give a shout out to the program that is under your area. We've had a compliment from I'm assuming a parent, about our veterans program, and it's still amazing. He says to me that my service as a Marine helped with tuition for my daughter. So, sir, first, thank you for your service. We are grateful, and I know we all take great pride in the fact that the University of North Dakota is a military-friendly campus. And again, our military and veteran services program reports to Provost Link. So, Provost Link, I just want to make sure that you saw the comment and can share that with your colleagues. I know we're getting near the hour, so I know people are sharing compliments and appreciation for the town hall. If this is your first town hall, we typically try to do these once or twice a semester. Certainly, if there is a situation or something that warrants us to do them more frequently, we are happy to do them. During COVID, we did them a little bit more frequently. There were new updates to share. Now we have been doing them at the beginning and maybe at the end of the semester, or maybe just once, depending. And so I appreciate those who have shared their appreciation for the town hall. We are happy to do it and to make ourselves available. And as I transition to President Armacost, I know he would reiterate it. This is not the only time that we as staff and faculty and administrators are available to you. If you've got questions, please let us know. If you don't have everybody's email, many of you get the parents' newsletters from Christy Okerlund once a month. You can email Christy, and Christy knows, as people know, how to get things in to contact to people. And so we're happy to make ourselves available. It doesn't have to wait for a town hall for you to answer or ask the question. We are happy to help anytime. And with that, questions have kind of stopped. So President Armacost, I'm going to send it to you to wrap us up this evening, sir.
Cassie, my assessment of your performance as the moderator remains exactly the same. So congratulations and thank you for really pulling this together. To all those who attended, thank you so much for signing in and for the great questions that you've asked. Again, just as Cassie said, if there's additional questions or follow-ups, reach out to us. We are so extraordinarily proud of of your students who are here at UND, the work that they're putting forth and the programs and the way that they're excelling. We do realize that there are struggles in life too, right? Whether it's academically or personally, and we're here to support each and every student on the campus. So always reach out to us if you need anything, and let's make sure we make this semester a great one. Thanks to all the panelists, all of my colleagues who joined us this evening. As you noted in your comments, they are an extraordinary bunch who give their heart and soul to the well-being of our students. So until next time, we'll see you soon.